Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Covenant Army Podcast, where our mission is to equip couples to align with God and win the daily battle, raging against marriage and family. I am Brent, and I'm here with my beautiful wife, Miss Lucy.
Good morning, baby.
Morning, baby doll. Happy Valentine's Day, baby.
Oh, well, thank you.
This should come out on February 14th, 2024. God willing, if it is. Because, guys, we do pre-record the podcast, so it comes out on the day we plan. And this is going to be a midweek drop, because usually we drop them every Friday. But we figured, hey, it's special. People are talking about love. And we want to share some things about love with you guys.
Some practical stuff.
Because earlier in the week, we put out a little post talking about Valentine's Day and all the stuff at the stores with the balloons and the flowers and all that stuff.
All the stuff that everybody's going for, probably today.
Yeah, last minute. Hey, guys, wait till tomorrow. It gets a lot cheaper.
I don't think tomorrow will be cheaper.
It is, because all Valentine's candy is cheaper the day after Valentine's Day.
Well, that's the day after. Not actually on Valentine's Day.
This is the 14th. Stop being so practical. This is coming out on the 14th.
Okay.
So when they listen to the podcast.
Okay, I got it. I
don't know if you do got it. Stay with me. So, guys, I'm sorry. I apologize for my wife. She's still on Tuesday when you guys listen to this on Wednesday.
Okay, listen.
And if you're listening on Thursday, guess what? You win. Because go to the store right now, because it's really cheap today, because it's the day after Valentine's Day. That's what I'm talking about. So,
okay,
you can pick all the garbage up. Really, really cheap.
Wow. I don't think
Baby,
garbage
let's just call it what it is. It's good for a day. Well, some people hold it a little bit longer, and then you're going to throw it away.
Well, yeah, the flowers die, the chocolates come to an end.
In this house, they come to an end very quick.
I save my cards. I save all the cards you give me.
Because you're a pack rat.
I am not a...
You're sentimental. I know. I'm just messing with you.
Wow.
It's good. It's good.
Your Valentine's Day is going to be real good.
I'm winning, guys. I got good points.
Yeah.
Pray for me. If you're listening to this podcast, you might want to pray for me, because I probably...
Definitely racking them up right now.
I probably messed it up. But on a serious note, we're going to talk about love.
Yes.
And not just the gushy, mushy kind of love.
Not the chocolates kind. And
stuff that's going to last after Valentine's Day.
The kind of love that people want on a daily basis.
Yeah, daily. Like, again, you don't have to wait just on Valentine's Day, obviously, to tell your spouse that you love them. There's practical ways that you can show them love every single day. And that's when we want to talk about the attributes of love.
Right.
So the article that we found, and we'll put it in the link of the podcast, prayerfully I won't forget. It's from covenantkeeper.com, and it's talking about, the title is, let me get back up there because I forgot it, what it means to love your spouse. Got a little head up there. And the part that we're going to focus on is the attributes of love. The attributes of love. And we got 11 that we're going to run through here real quick, so hang on, put on your seatbelt, because this may go fast. But we know that if you put these things in practice, it's gonna do some great things for your relationship.
So in essence, types of love.
Types of love. Attributes. The attributes of love.
Got it. Number one.
Yes.
Giving love.
Give me some love. What's it look like?
Giving, like the art of giving.
Okay. What are you giving me?
Love.
Well, what's that look like in practical sense? If you were to give me love, what does love look like?
I would have to seek out what you're most needing, what you would want from me. And I know for you, you like a little back rub.
Physical touch.
Because you're a physical touch kind of guy.
I am a physical touch kind of guy.
And you like when I cook for you.
I'm an eating kind of guy.
little meals here and there.
Do you know my favorite meal? Because my birthday's coming up. And
yes, you like calzones, which...
Real calzones, not the faux
smokes.
Calzones.
When somebody... Guys, I can't even believe this man. I asked him what he wants for his birthday meal. And it wasn't like I want steak and lobster. I want to go to a fancy restaurant. No, I hit the jackpot. All he wants is a calzone. I mean,
hey man,
sure.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
So yes, calzone for Brent.
Okay. Yes. So yes, we can kind of tap in on the 5 love languages here. I think this is a good way when we talk about giving love, right? Because this is something that you can look for, like you said, what your spouse needs in these things. And if you've never heard of the 5 love languages, please look them up. They're online. You can find out what they are. Help me, because we didn't prep for this. Physical touch.
Quality time.
Quality time. Acts of service.
Words of affirmation.
Yes, words of affirmation.
And gifts for everybody who loves to receive all those goodies on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so if our daughter is listening to this, she loves gifts. We know that.
Yes.
That's her love language. But the point is, it's giving love, right?
Well, being a giver and not necessarily just sitting back to receive.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really where a lot of relationships get in trouble.
Yep.
Is they get used to somebody doing all the giving.
Mm-hmm. And hey, the Bible says, or Jesus says himself, it's better to give than to receive.
Absolutely.
So that's that biblical principle, real terms. Number 2, sacrificial love. So babe, sacrificial love. Sacrificial love is what it looks like for true love. So what are you willing to sacrifice on this Valentine's Day to show? Or maybe I should show you because you asked me what the first one was. What do you think?
Exactly. It's your turn.
Well, as the husband, I will sacrifice first because I'm supposed to go first.
Okay.
Ooh, I have to think about this. I guess I would need to know what
you put yourself on the spot.
I did because I didn't think this through. I guess I would need to know what you're needing in this moment, in this time. And I know for you, one of the sacrifices that we just spoke about earlier, actually, is that I need to be a little more focused on putting my devices down and staying more focused and in tune with you when we have quality time.
Yeah, boundaries. We need to have boundaries. We need to have a good balance.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing what we do together, but there's a time for it and a place for it.
Close the computer, shut the phone off, and just be focused on you.
Yes.
And this is really practicing dying to self. Like it's the death of the flesh.
Yeah, you're definitely dying to self.
Because I have to want to sacrifice that. I have to be willing to sacrifice that.
Well,
because it's something you need.
What it shows me is that you're not trying to be selfish.
True.
Selfishness is the opposite of sacrificial love.
It is. So number 3, serving love. Serving love. How can we serve each other in practical ways? So think about what that looks like for this upcoming Valentine's Day week.
How do we serve each other? Well, it always reminds me of Pastor Jimmy Evans saying that the best marriages are 2 servants in love. 2 people willing to outserve each other daily.
Yeah.
What can I do for you? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? And just having that kind of dance every day, it really does something for your intimacy, for your marriage, for your relationship, and for your family. If your kids are watching,
that's
like
great.
You're definitely teaching them something awesome.
Yeah, got to get out of that whole me first attitude and really think about the other person first.
Yeah, I have to say this because on this article it says, don't be lazy and think that service is for everyone else except for you.
Yeah, that won't work out well for you guys.
No.
So number 4 is love that's freely given. Love freely given. Right? That giving of that love that is not forced, is voluntary, and is free from any kind of manipulation. Right?
So basically, stop trying to be controlling. And honestly, if somebody's trying to be controlling in a relationship, there's something that they're lacking.
Yeah. You should want to give. I mean, we're married. We're in this partnership. We're in this thing together. I should want to give. I shouldn't have to be forced to give.
Well, this is talking about love freely given. So basically, you should want to give me love without me having to control and manipulate you in any kind of way for you to show me love.
And I don't like to be controlled and manipulated in any kind of way. So
who does?
It would work out great.
Nobody likes to be controlled and manipulated, really.
Yeah.
So if this is happening in your relationship, time for a change.
Yep. You might need to make a call to Ghostbusters. Number 5. You want to read it or me read it?
Number 5 is submissive love.
Submissive love.
What does submissive love looks like, babe?
Deferring to one another. Putting each other first. Going first. Leading first together. Like everything that we do, it has to be a win-win for our relationship and for our marriage.
A lot of people don't like submitting.
Well, I think about it in the food arena. I
must
be hungry.
With you just talking about food
it's
today.
Either food or music for me. In the food arena, we decide where we're going to go eat. We both have options. Most time it's me giving you options and you say no.
That's not true.
It is. But now we got a few places that we pull from that I know are pretty on point. That's going to get you one way or another. I know you love sushi, so if I'm pulling the sushi card out, I've got to win. So, and they also got my hibachi, so I get my cooked food and you get your raw food, so it works good. But submitting to one another, it's a win-win situation. Just like I explained there, you get your sushi, I get my hibachi. It's a win-win for us.
Well, submitting to one another, which a lot of people don't like to do, really is a necessity in marriage. You have to be willing to submit to one another. it's a biblical principle.
Yep.
Submit to one another in the fear of God.
Mm.
How do you submit to one another? Stop fighting.
Yeah.
Stop fighting about everything.
Yep.
Really listen to your spouse and hear what they're trying to tell you so you guys can get on the same page.
Good. It's good.
So the marriage wins instead of one or the other.
Yeah. Because if you win, your spouse loses, the marriage loses. Number 6, supporting love. What does supporting love look like?
Supporting love.
Yep.
Well, supporting one another
Okay.
instead of fighting.
Yeah, we're not in competition.
Over who's going to be the one directing the show.
Yep.
That's huge for a lot of couples after a certain amount of time in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You start with a lot of support at the beginning because you're trying to win this person over, but eventually there's a little bit of a kind of tug of war.
And it's knowing each other's heart, knowing that we have our best interest, our spouse's best interest at heart in these situations. It helps us support one another.
And that you're not in competition in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
One doesn't have to win over the other, because if one wins and the other one loses, the marriage loses.
That sounds vaguely familiar, like we said in the last point. I like it. It must be something that stuck with us.
It is.
Number 7, kind love. I
Mm.
like that. Being kind.
This is a struggle and very challenging for a lot of couples that are in that
But
place of like, we're just not getting along.
That's right. So let's talk about the good things of being kind. Talk nicely to each other. Talk sweetly to each other. Use words that are life-giving words, that are encouraging and building each other up, not critical, right? Stop being critical with each other and speak good things that you see into each other.
And if you're at that place where you're about to say something rude or harsh to your
Don't
spouse,
say it.
You might want to take a second. You might want to walk away. Hey, can you just give me a minute? I just need to get my mind right.
Yeah.
Because eventually you're going to get over this moment and you're going to want to take those words back if you say them, and you won't be able to.
It's true. Once they're thrown out there, man, you cannot get them back.
So be kind. Be kind.
Be kind.
I thought you were going to say, be kind, please rewind.
I was thinking of a song, but we'll go with that one. Number 8, understanding love. Understanding love. That's a big one, right? Because we're different. Men and women are different. Many times we just don't understand each other. But love is seeking to understand each other, putting the time in, investigating each other to get that place of understanding.
I like that. There's a need to investigate more when you're not understanding, which means you need to ask more questions to find out why your spouse feels the way that they feel.
Yeah. And I think a big thing is also, like, don't get frustrated and upset because you're having a misunderstanding.
Right.
That's an opportunity for intimacy in your relationship if you lean in love to want to know this other person, right?
Right.
This is all about being known. And that gives a great opportunity when these things come up. Well, this is something I get to discover about you. You know, and again, this is a different approach on it. But again, we're talking about love here, right? Number 9, laboring love. Laboring love. No, we're not talking about having babies. We're talking about demonstrating true love in practical ways that reveal your love.
Which we have discussed about ways that you can love your spouse and serving them. All of this, it all kind of comes together underneath the same headline of serving one another.
Well, yeah. I think it's really what love is, right?
Serving one another.
Yep. It's serving one another. And really asking, you know, again, I think I asked it in this video, or the last Valentine's video that I shared. How can I make my spouse's life easier? What can I do to make my spouse's life easier?
Yeah.
That is a big question I think everyone can ask.
You know, people should be asking that if they made that a point every day. Hey, today, what can I do to make your life easier? How can I serve you? I feel like if people adopted that principle and doing that every day, both of them, husband and wife, doing this for each other every day, they would see a turnaround in the relationship for the better in no time.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if you ask that question and your spouse gives you a response, you got to follow through in doing it. Can't just ask the question.
As long as it's realistic.
Okay, I get it.
It's got to be realistic.
But you got to follow through. A lot of people don't follow through, and that causes a whole nother mess.
Well, you just got a gold nugget. I mean, are you going to use it or are you just going to throw it away? Like, think about it. If somebody gave me $100 bill, I'm not just going to throw it away. That thing has value. When your spouse shares you with something of value, you better hold on to it and cherish it. Right? You've just been given a gift. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Number 10, gentle love. Gentle love. And I know we talked about kind, and sometimes people tie these two together, but it looks very different.
Well, gentle. How are you gentle in your relationship? And typically when everything's going good, it's not a problem to be gentle with each other. It's when you hit the bump in the road that people start being critical of each other, using abusive language, being sarcastic, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a silent killer, sarcasm. So how can, in those moments, like you said, when it is difficult and things aren't going well, how do you still exhibit gentleness in that moment?
You're going to need God.
True story.
You're going to need God to help you be gentle. Again, you need to understand your own cues when you get into that space where something's about to come out of you that's not so gentle, and just take a minute. Just take a minute, because you can't take the stuff back once you put it out there. You can apologize for it and ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
But it would work out best.
Well, I like to share with everyone. Speak the truth in love. Speak the truth in love. Even in those moments when things aren't bubblegum and lollipops and there's been a little bit of misunderstanding, a little disagreement, you can share what's on your heart if you smother it in love. And again, it's taking all these things practically and put them in that play. I'm being kind, I'm being gentle, I'm being sacrificial. All those things come into play when you're talking about speaking the truth in love.
And when you say gentle love, I think not that men don't need gentle love, right? But you think more of women, like needing that gentleness from their husbands when they come and bring a topic to the table or a concern or something they disagree with, to be gentle as you share your heart and your concerns.
That's a good point. I like how you said that, and it made me think about that again. You know, when we're having the conversation and we're trying to get a place of understanding, when your spouse shares something with you, be gentle with the response they give you. Don't disregard it. Don't blow it off. Don't tell them they're crazy. You don't know what the heck they're thinking. That's not being gentle.
Yeah.
In real terms, oh, well, thank you for sharing that with me. Can you help me understand a little more about that? There's a way, again, to speak the truth in love in that moment and do it with gentleness.
Right.
You know, and again, you look at Scripture and you think about how Jesus had these interactions with the people he came in contact with. Like, you know, talk about him being gentle, right? In those moments, in those situations. He's a great example for us.
For sure.
Just in relationships in our marriage. And number 11, babe, can you believe we already got through 11 points this quick? This is good for us.
It is good for us.
But it's Valentine's Day, so we're going to give you guys a treat and give you a little short one, just a little snippet. Number 11 is forgiving love. Forgiving love. Talk to me about that, sweet pie.
Forgiveness. I mean, that's why Christ went to the cross, to forgive us, to be that model for us. Like, how many couples don't we talk to that are like, well, you just don't know what he's done to me. I can't forgive that. Really? Let's talk about Jesus. Let's talk about what he did for you.
Right.
And how he was tortured and beaten and crucified.
Yeah.
Like he went through the ultimate test for us to be forgiven.
Right.
To model that for us, to show us how that's done.
Well, I think the biggest thing with forgiveness is when there's unresolved issues in the relationship. When people harbor that and it becomes bitterness and resentful, and they're holding on to it, where their heart becomes hard, you know, and then it's hard for them to forgive in that moment. And again, I think in God's infinite wisdom, he already had the playbook written because he already knew that forgiveness is not going to be easy for us.
Right.
And I believe with 100%, that's why it's a command. He literally put in his word, guys, not me, God. If you don't forgive, you will not be forgiven. I don't know about you, but that kind of, it brings it to the forefront. Like, I need to be serious about this forgiveness. I need to seek forgiveness.
Absolutely.
If I'm holding something against my spouse on Valentine's Day where I'm upset.
But not just on Valentine's Day, every day.
Well, of course, every day, baby doll.
Just saying.
I'm trying to keep it specific to the topic we're talking about here. I was going deep and you just pulled me back. Throw me back in the water. What I'm saying is that if you were holding on to that unforgiveness, today is the day.
Yeah.
Right? Go pray and ask God what he wants you to do. And if you're not aware, pick up the Bible because he's going to tell you to forgive. There's not even a question. And then give forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is not forgetting. Right. That's just saying, I'm not going to hold this person's debt any longer for what's happened to me. And it's not a green light to say it's okay, keep doing it.
Right.
It's just saying, I'm handing this over to God.
Yep. So you can be free.
So I can be free and love you the way that God calls me to love you. Because if you're holding on to that unforgiveness, you're not going to be able to love your spouse the way God wants you to love them.
Yeah. There's a block. There's a hindrance.
It's a hindrance. And it's also going to affect your relationship with God.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying God's going to turn his back on you, but what I'm saying, like, that's something that gets in the way, a sin, right? Because God commanded you to get rid of it. That's going to hinder and cause that break in the relationship with God.
Yeah.
And with your spouse. So just think about it. This is an example of what is happening here. This is maybe visual, but trust me, it's just happening on a two-way road here.
Absolutely.
I know I went deep too fast,
that
baby. You
was
weren't ready for
real
that.
deep, baby.
You said you wanted the Valentine's Day podcast to be light and fun and cheery.
No, that's a good way to end it. People need to know. Forgiveness and unforgiveness is a real thing that people walk around with.
It is. It is. And a lot of us, we feel justified in holding on to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? God's wiser, smarter, and more awesome. So who are you going to follow? You or God? I'm going to choose God.
Yeah, every day.
So the attributes of love. We've gave 11 different examples of different attributes of love.
Very fast. So if you have time, go and check out the full article.
The full article.
Yeah.
What it means to love. It is on covenantkeepers.com. We're going to put it also, the link in the podcast. You can just click the link and it'll take you right there.
Right.
And you can read through this, guys. We really just flew over the top of this. There's a lot of great information that we would love for you to look at. You're going to have a lot of takeaways. You're going to be like, why didn't you guys say this? Because this is so important. Because we can't say everything. We don't have time. And hey, Valentine's Day's up. It's coming, baby. And I got to take my wife out. Is there anything special you want to do for the Valentine's Day
I'm
before?
going to let you surprise me.
I knew you were going to say that.
Come on.
So
Why not?
Not McDonald's. It's not going to happen. You know, at Publix, which is a store here in Florida, they have those little strawberry heart things that you pointed out. Was that a sign that you were trying to?
I'm just going to let you surprise me.
Well, give me something to feed on. We've been married a long time. I mean,
we sure have. So you got a lot of material to pull from.
I got to outdo myself every year. Do something special and
so
awesome.
outdo yourself.
I'm going to try. It could involve chocolate. It could involve something awesome.
And guys, this is not just about, again, attributes of love for you to do daily.
Yeah.
Don't just wait for Valentine's Day to do stuff like this. This is stuff that you can do on a daily basis that's free.
I might make you something, come to think about it. I'm going to make you something with some construction paper and some glue. That's how that's.
We'll talk about it after the podcast.
So guys, we hope you enjoyed the podcast. Happy Valentine's Day. Go out and love your spouse exactly the way that God calls you to love him. It's a win-win. You guys win together. You honor God. You honor each other.